Welcome back to our channel, My Story, Very Normal People. Guys, we always have something special for you. And today we have a special story, but not just a simple story, an experience that helped not just her, but also other people. Today we have Dorothy HUsen. Welcome, Dorothy.
Hi, Arthur. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you today.
Thanks for coming in our show. And please, for our audience, who is Dorothy? Can you please tell us something more about yourself, who you are?
Sure. Well, I am a mind body coach. I'm have my own business, so I'm a businesswoman. I'm a coach, a life coach. I'm also a licensed therapist here in California. I live in California, and I'm a recent author. So I recently published my first book, which tells my story, and it's called Breaking the Chains of Transgenerational Trauma, My Journey from Surviving to Thriving. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm 60 years old. I'm much, I started this journey much later in life. And um, prior to that, I was away. I'm still am. I have a husband, a family, two grown children, and a grandchild.
So, let's say that in the book you have the full package, not just. So, please
Yes.
tell us something about your book. How, let's say, better, why did you write the book? Who pushed you to what motivated you, better to say?
What motivated me to write my book was a little, I think, selfish at first because it was an extension of the journaling. So, writing my book at first, what motivated me was therapeutic. It was therapeutic for me to write the story, to get it out of my mind, get it out of my body, everything that had happened to me. And I was on my healing journeys at that time. So, there was this reorganizing of my mind and how my life made sense. And my life started to make so much more sense to me why I did the things I did when I started to heal, when I started to heal from my trauma. So in the beginning, I did write for myself. It was therapeutic. And it took me a couple of years to really just keep writing. And I had help. I had a friend of mine who was my editor, and she very patiently kept telling me, keep writing. It's not there yet, keep writing. And then after a couple of years, she told me, it's good. You can publish it now. But if you want people to read it, then you need to rewrite it. And so at that point, then I shifted and I started writing to help other people. So I started writing and rewriting it so that I could pass on this wisdom of healing of how I healed to other people. And that's what motivated me. And that's what the final product is. It's for your listeners, it's for my readers, it's for other people who have had trauma in their lives and would like to heal and are ready to heal. And that's why I wrote it.
So, uh, you wrote the book, let's say you were more focused in your personal experiences, or also well, how did you, how's it, how did you come to the book, let's say, in which approach?
I at first it was just my whole life story. It was like
Okay,
every experience that I had. It was long. It was four times as long as it is now.
right.
And then I started to pick out specific stories. So every chapter is a specific story that is that I use as a teaching, as this is what happened to me and this is how I recovered from it. This is the effect that trauma had on me in this
Mm.
particular relationship or situation. And then I teach the science and the psychology and the theory behind how to heal from trauma and how to um, heal from depression or anxiety, how to create better relationships. And so each chapter is a specific story and then a teaching lesson about how to heal from trauma.
Okay, let's speak a little bit about trauma. Because as long as we know, everybody has some trauma.
Hmm.
Okay, nobody can be saved, let's say safe from traumas. Everybody has something.
Yes.
Some they have it bigger, some smaller, or
Hmm.
let's say, but everybody has traumas. So uh,
Yes.
please let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, so you're right. Everybody has traumas. It's just distressing and disturbing experiences. Very difficult experience, like um, a an accident or a cut is trauma, right? It's injury to your body. So emotional trauma or psychological trauma is injury to your mind. And what I write about in the book, which is kind of interesting, is that it's really not what happened to me that created post traumatic stress disorder. It was how I was unable to recover from the trauma because because I was using strategies that my mom had passed down to me that wasn't effective in helping me deal with what happened to me. So I was sexually abused as a child, and I wasn't, and everybody that has been sexually abused doesn't develop PTSD. Um, Everybody that goes to war doesn't develop PTSD, but I did because I wasn't able to recover from the trauma. I didn't have my mom there to help me work through it. So that's kind of the important, it's important to understand that, yeah, we all have difficult things in life, but really what we need is the tools to help us get through them, to process what happened to us, to have somebody there for us to help us understand that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault, because that's one thing that I held for many, many years, that it was my fault. And if my mom had been able to help me understand that and tell me, that's not your fault, maybe I wouldn't have developed PTSD. But she wasn't able to do that because she was carrying her own baggage and her own uh, strategies for dealing with her trauma from her life.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and personally, you let's say knowing all this stuff, also reading, and so it was for you, it was like self healing yourself in one sense, right? Or you
Yes.
also used other sources.
I used a lot of sources. All the help I got from other therapists, learning also all the research that has built up about the mind body connection, all the evolutionary information that we have about how um, attachment passes, how attachment works, that special relationship between a parent and a child, and how that trauma passes on from parent to child. So I used a lot of different, um, I had a lot of help from a lot of different people, um, teachers and therapists. And, but basically, yes, it's connecting to our body's natural healing resources that healed me. I didn't get it from other people. Like, they didn't heal me. Like, parents don't heal their children magically. Um, it's the body's natural way of processing and healing that I brought back online. That that healed me from the post-traumatic stress disorder, plus a lot of help, from other people. But it's the body that heals ourselves. Just like when we get sick, our
Mhm.
body, we can supplement with medication and doctors, and we get help like that. But the body is what heals itself.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. For this, I would like to talk as well because we have, let's say, we have psychologically, let's say, or yeah, we have problems psychologically as stress or traumas, but also we have pain in our body, right? And you write about that in your book
Hmm.
as well. So please, can you
Yeah,
tell us
there's a
something about that?
connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, there's a definite connection between the mind and the body and the emotional pain and physical pain.
Okay.
And it's a lot of times it goes hidden because it takes decades of chronic stress to where it really becomes apparent to us that it's been affecting our physical body. For me, it was the connection between um, using sweets to self-soothe, using food to self-soothe, that eventually resulted in obesity, metabolic syndrome, diabetes. For some people, it could be like backaches, like like from just tension, constant tension over the years produces backaches that can create other problems, like just chronic pain or migraines. A lot of people have
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
migraines. Because the stress that builds and builds over the years affects our body in that way. So right now we have an epidemic of chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses that, it's not completely, our childhood trauma is not all completely responsible, but there's a connection there. There is a connection there. And we can definitely partner with our body. If we can get to the root of that emotional chronic stress,
Mhm.
then we can help our body heal ourselves from those chronic disorders as well, the physical ones as well.
Okay. So
Mm.
let's say for body healing or stress, both of them maybe. So what kind of method do you prefer to use with clients or also to yourself, whatever you have?
Mhm, mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I use a mind body technique that helps us connect to our body on the inside of our body. So, and you could call it mindful meditation.
okay.
It's complex. But that's where it starts. It's just slow, deep breathing and bringing your attention to the inside of your body, to connect to the inside of your body, and letting your body lead this healing process, and teaching your mind to let go of the control, because we want to control.
Hmm.
Our mind wants to control, figure it out. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to sleep better. I'm going to get healthy. But it doesn't work that way. It's The healing process is getting our mind to calm down and giving back control to the body and following the body's lead. And you can do that. You can start just by learning how to meditate and
Hmm.
following your breath, slowing your breath down, following your breath. And then this practice brings you into the inside of your body. It brings your attention and your mind into the inside of your body.
Okay.
And then it's a practice of, I lead my clients in just being with these sensations, getting comfortable with what's going on inside of your body, and building trust between your mind and your body, that you can trust your body. Your body does want you to feel good, and your body knows what you need. Your body knows how to heal you. So it's that kind of a process that
Mhm. So
Uh,
let's say that the first step is, in one sense, that okay, a person start to meditate to make the connection with mind and the body, and
mhm.
he does it like an habit, or what is the next step? What's going on? Let's say after this.
Mhm. Yeah, so maybe I could give give an example
Yes.
that might be easier. So I I I always had IBS or irritable bowel syndrome, like a, a problem in my stomach with nerves for over the years. I'd get scared. I'd face some kind of, for instance, maybe I had to give a talk in front of class in a class, and I'd have to like go to the bathroom, and I'd have all these stomach pains, and this and so I eventually I stopped like giving talks in front of class. I just, in order to, so that it didn't have that distress in my stomach, I I controlled what I did in my life. So I became very, quiet. I didn't want to speak out. I didn't want to go in front of people because it always caused this pain in my stomach. Well, when I was older and started healing, I started wanting to share what was happening with me with other people. So I joined Toastmasters. And I had to face this problem that every time I got up to give a speech, I would have all this pain in my stomach, and I'd have to find a bathroom. And so to heal that, what I started to do was do the slow, deep breathing and go into the inside of my body and started feeling this pain and this distress. And what would come up for me was what happened to me when I was a child. And so this fear of being seen was connected to this pain in my stomach. And then I'd start breathing and connecting to this little 6-year-old Dorothy. And I started talking to her like, okay, you're not alone. I'm right here with you. I started connecting to her in that memory, that emotional state, and I started telling her, and I would talk to her like, "I'm right here with you. It's not your fault. No one's going to hurt you. I'm right here, and just breathe with me. Look into my eyes." And I'd imagine like comforting her and holding her, and then that, very interestingly, that tightness in my stomach lifted as I practiced this, not just one time, but every time, every time I'd have an upset stomach, I would do this. And then the tightness in my stomach would disappear.
This.
It would go away. For that moment, it would disappear, it would go away. And then the next time I'd have to do a speech, it would show up again. But
Mm.
every time it got less and less. It got easier and easier.
Okay. So also about there are different techniques about breathe. I mean, when we meditate, right?
Yes.
So you speak about that as well in your book, right?
Mhm.
So please,
Mhm.
can you say some words about that as well?
Yeah. St- it's how, where we have control is we can control the way we breathe. We can hold our breath, we can push our breath out, we can speed it up, we can slow it down. So we have control over how we breathe. And interestingly, it's the only thing that we have control over when we get scared, when we go into what's called fight, flight, freeze, or faint, that threat response that it happens really quick when you're scared, because the cortisol and the hormones and the adrenaline floods our bodies so quickly, and so that we can respond or react without thinking. And that's the fight, flight, freeze response. So that's what's going on when we're scared. And the only thing that we have control over that reaction is our breath rhythm. So that's where our power lies. That's where our control lies. That's where our power lies. And every different breath rhythm has a direct effect on your nervous system, on that reaction. And so that's why the breathing rhythms are so powerful, because they work. You can just choose to use it. And if you choose to use it every day, you'll have a direct effect on your nervous system and your fears. The most commonly used, very effective breath rhythm is the slow in, slow out. And we kind of know that intuitively, because when somebody's upset, a lot of times we'll just say, just take a deep breath, just breathe. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We remind ourselves to do that. So we kind of know it works. And if you practice it every day, the message that you're sending to your body is to relax and repair, because the slow in and slow out breath rhythm is imitating sleep. You kind of know when somebody falls asleep, their breath rhythms change.
Yeah, it's
Some
correct.
people snore, you know.
But still,
Um,
there is a rhythm there.
there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm. Yeah, it's this slow, deep, this
Mm,
deep in and out. And so when you do that, when you meditate, you're telling your body it's time to rest and repair. It's time for rest and repair. And so I start every session with my clients with this breath rhythm, some form of, slow, deep breathing, controlled breathing that we're telling our body, okay, it's time to heal. It's time to heal. We're going to get ready to go inward and follow our body's lead in healing. So, and then there's so many different rhythms. You can go online and look it up, and there's fire breathing, there's heart breathing, there's ocean breathing, coherent breathing, just many, many different rhythms. And I always encourage my clients to find your own breath rhythms that work for you
mm,
and what's comfortable for you and what works for you. And they do. I've been taught a lot of different breath rhythms from my clients.
mm,
Like, I like balloon breathing. Okay, tell me what that is, and
mm.
I can learn from you. And
So,
that's
mhm,
really cool. It's
mhm,
very powerful. It really helps. Like when, um, if you have pain, in your back or your neck,
mhm,
could be the connection could be repressed anger, and that's my problem. I have a lot of repressed anger. So um, usually it's in my stomach, but it can be in my back or my head, or
mhm,
um, so I can use fire breathing, which is like you breathe out like a dragon.
mhm,
You pretend like you're a dragon,
mhm,
and that helps process that anger, that repressed anger, or that tightness that has turned into pain in your body. So you can use different breath rhythms. They're really powerful. They really are, and they really work.
okay. If somebody, let's say, found his, let's say, rhythm, what fits to him or her.
Mhm.
So, let's say, how many minutes or hours somebody needs to meditate?
Mm. Well, I'm it I don't know if it's minutes or hours, if that's what we're looking for. What I try and get my clients to do is daily. So it's not so much it's not how long that
Mhm.
matters. What matters is when, like daily.
Frequency or
The frequency.
mhm,
Yes, yes. The frequency, that's what matters. That's what matters, because it if you do 60 minutes of meditating on Saturday, you'll get a lot of benefit, but you'll get benefit, I believe, and I promote that you'll get more benefit if you just do a minute a day, 7 days in a row, than you will with 1 hour on Saturday.
So it's
It
it's spread.
builds, and it's a practice that when you start to feel that change within you, that connection to yourself, it feels good, and you're gonna want it. You're gonna want to do it every day, and that's the power because it grows and it builds exponentially in the long run. In the short term, that hour probably feels pretty good. That you feel like, oh, I got a lot out of that hour, and you did.
Mhm.
But the long lasting effects are going to be from that minute a day that you did daily.
Mhm.
It'll have a longer lasting effect.
By the way, when is the best time for somebody to meditate and to do?
Yeah, I think that's personal too. That's also another uh, thing that I encourage my clients to find for themselves is what works for you. For some people, it's taking a walk.
Mhm.
For some people, it's sitting in that formal position. For some people, it's during doing yoga. For some people, it's when, you know, taking a break from work, or you have to find your own, just like you find your own rhythm, you have to find what time works for you, and the more the better. Like, if for me it's the mornings.
Mhm.
I like to meditate in the mornings, and I have more of a formal practice, but that's me. So, a lot of people do um, advocate for doing it in the mornings formally, but I'm not so sure. I don't think that that's necessary. I think it's better if you find, because then you're trying, I don't want my clients or people to feel like they're doing it wrong, or like, oh, I have to do it this way or else it's
Oh,
not
it
good
is wrong.
enough,
Mhm.
or it's not going to work for me. But I think whatever works for you is
Mhm.
the best. That's the best that you can do.
I totally agree with that, with my experience, because I have tried when I have a lot of things to do, let's say during the day, I wake up early in the morning in my bed with my eyes closed, and then I just meditate, also check a little bit the rhythm, everything, that I have to do is like planning in one sense, but also meditating for myself. And other
Yeah,
times when I read something, let's say something heavy philosophical thing, for me it's better before I go to bed, I just lie down there and I think about that to try to go deeper in one sense, to meditate on it. So that's me. I haven't chosen the right one. During the day
yeah,
I just
that's
work with
great.
it.
That's great. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, some people use meditation to organize their thoughts and organize their mind and organize their day, and that works for them. Yeah.
I usually do that when I do it in the morning. It's for organizing myself and also putting the things, even the small pieces, let's say, of the puzzle that I have to go through the day. I just go on that, and I try not just planning, but also enjoying that, I like to play a little bit with that, in my mind during the meditation, and also during the
Yeah, I love it.
yeah, it's and in the evening it's different. It's quite different. It has something else, and mostly I try to learn something new or to bring something new in my mind and just think about that and you bring it about. But
That's great. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to learn, and that's the part of the what's so sad about trauma is that it's takes that away from people. Unprocessed trauma, unresolved trauma steals that joy of living from us. And the healing journey is very freeing because you can rediscover the joy in living your life, and the delight in learning and growing. And there's just, there's so much to enjoy. It's pretty amazing, this world that we live in.
All right.
So,
So, uh, would you like to add something, let's say, for today to in the knowledge or maybe in the experiences of our audience? So, something that you want to add to what we said up to now.
gosh, you know, it this work is so available to us, and there's more and more people who are joining in on this journey. And I would just encourage you, encourage your audience, encourage anybody to just begin to start. And it's just made such a big difference in my life to be able to get out of that place of fear. It, our world has a lot of problems. In America, we're very divided. There's a lot of fear right now. And I'd say that the biggest difference in my life in doing this healing work has been to free myself from living from fear, from that place of fear, and free myself to um, find uh, control, I guess, over or let go of the things that I can't control, that serenity prayer. But taking control of just like your breathing rhythms is the start, because that's where we have our control, is within ourselves. And so when I healed, my whole life changed, because I wasn't scared all the time. I wasn't scared of people. I wasn't scared of doing the wrong thing. I wasn't scared of making a mistake. That's how I used to live my life, just from this place of fear. And now it's much better. I still have fears, but at least I know I have a strategy to face my fears and then comfort myself and recover from mistakes. And I think a lot of our suffering in the world is from this, just being scared, being afraid. And we can change our lives. And it just starts with learning, taking a few breaths and going inward. And it's very available. I would say I would want to really encourage people to contact me, just contact me via email. And I'd have, you know, I have courses, I have packages, I work with people one on one. You can read my book, just get started, because there's just so much available that can help you, and you can find help.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, the last question. So, what is your motto in your life? Something that pushes you ahead every day.
Oh, my
Yeah,
motivation?
yeah.
Yeah, I that's part of the healing, actually, that has changed for me. Before, I was always motivated to please other people, to please my mom, to please Jesus, to please my husband. I was motivated because of other people. Like, I found my motivation to try and please other people, help other people, be kind to other people. And what's really changed for me in this healing journey, is now I've learned how to motivate myself by pleasing myself, to do what's best for me. And I know that sounds selfish, because it kind of goes against what we were taught. But it's 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 not selfish. It's not selfish. It's the best thing that you can do, is to pass on your healing to the next generation and to all your relationships. And it starts with learning how to please yourself, how to heal yourself and put yourself a priority. Make yourself a priority. You know, some people struggle with just finding that minute
Mhm.
of breathing a day
For themselves.
because for themselves. Yeah, because it feels so foreign to do something for myself. Like, oh, I'm being selfish if I do a minute of slow deep breathing. I'm, you know, and you're not. You're not being selfish. Um it's really good. It's good for you and it's good for the world and it's good for your children and it's good for everybody. So learning how to please myself and find that motivation to encourage myself to take care of myself. Yeah, I'd say that's my motivation now. But
Thank you.
it's still hard. I know it's still hard. It's a we're all a work in progress.
Yeah, it never ends. We never become 100% perfect. So,
No.
but still,
Yeah.
we're just looking forward. We inspire for that. So that's a good thing.
Yes, yes. I agree.
So,
Yeah, and so welcome, you know, as many people on this journey as possible. So come along with us and join us on this journey. It makes it more fun. The more the merrier.
mhm. I would like to say thank you for taking us to your train for 2 or 3 stops. I don't know how many we had together. Also, our audience. And it'll be a pleasure for us to have you again in our show. And also for wherever people want to ask for you, I will just write all the book that you have, where they can find you, your email, your website, everything you have, so people can find you and learn more about themselves and how they can change their lives and so on. Thank you very much for sharing that story with us and also sharing also the not just your healing but also how people can be healed as well. Thank
Yeah,
you. I
thank you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure and a joy. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, don't forget, subscribe, share it, so maybe somebody else needs something like this. Maybe somebody needs the healing today. So please share the word.